became paralyzed, didn't know what was going on. My heart was racing. I felt all types of chaotic things within my body. So I did think that was it for me. And I just kept remembering and like saying to myself, like, and praying to God, like, I'm only 33. Like, this is how I go. Like, I did not want that to happen. I was so scared.
What do you think makes you so different than another person that may have given up on life?
This little fire in me that even when my world felt so dark, I was just like, you know what? I'm at my bottom, but I don't want to be here. Like it can't get any worse than this. From that point on, I just kept trying to just see the light at the end of the tunnel.
How do you stay positive when you're facing adversity?
Just knowing that these things are temporary. Some of them are not even real. It's just kind of like your thoughts.
You were able to build the largest tattoo studio in New Jersey. How do you define success?
Success to me is
a talented artist and entrepreneur. Our next guest is the force behind the largest tattoo studio in New Jersey. But her journey wasn't always easy. She survived a stroke where she had to relearn basic physical skills, battled with Lyme disease, experienced loss, and did a lot of inner work on herself. Her story is the true testament of resilience, brilliance, and unyielding creativity. Please welcome Tiffany Perez.
Yes, thank you for having me here.
And I appreciate you coming. I know you're very, very busy. Thank you.
No problem.
So you had a real health scare.
Oh my God,
and you
yeah.
battled with, and you survived.
Mm-hmm.
And still, you didn't let it stop you. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I had a stroke, as you said, and it's crazy because it's like, where did that even come from? I didn't know anything about a stroke. Like when it was happening, I'm thinking like, is this a heart attack? But it was clear as day I was having a stroke. And that threw me off. When it was happening, I actually thought that I was going to die. And I was like, having called my grandmother over, like, please pray for me. Like, because I, became paralyzed, didn't know what was going on. My heart was racing. I felt all types of chaotic things within my body. So I did think that was it for me. And I just kept remembering and like saying to myself, like, and praying to God, like, at the time I was 33. I was like, I'm only 33. Like, this is how I go. Like, I did not want that to happen. I was so scared. But, luckily made it to the hospital on time and I was able to make a full recovery. But that experience alone, it was traumatic. And even to this day, like, sometimes I'm afraid to just keep my phone away from me because God forbid I'm by myself, when it were to happen again and I become paralyzed, like, what do I do? So I think that was an eye opener for me at the time. I felt like when that all happened, I go from being this independent businesswoman working every day, running a shop, to everything completely stopping. I had to have my mother care for me. I couldn't even stay home. I had to stay with my mother and she had to care for me and help me through everything. So to go from being independent to completely helpless, I think that's a eye opener for me. And then I saw life very differently after that. After that, I was just like, I got to live life to the fullest because you never know when's your last day.
Wow. Thank you for your willingness to share your story with us. And for me, it really touches home because I had a friend who passed away from a stroke who was also relatively young.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I just want to say that I'm grateful that you were able to survive and live through it and still thrive.
Thank you.
How did your perspective on life change? I know you said, you were like, yo, I got to live life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
But how did it shift your overall perspective? Are you like working less or are you just doing more? How did it alter how you view life and your perspective?
Oh, there was a lot of things. So when you're recovering from a stroke, one of the things that the doctors told me is that, hey, you're going to go through a depression. That's just kind of like what happens because your brain is like rewiring and there's a lot of changes happening. So you're going to go through that. But let me know if you want to get on antidepressants. I'm like, no, I'm gonna be fine, But I also didn't know the severity of a stroke because I didn't have much knowledge on it. So I remember like taking my first step off the hospital bed and I couldn't even hold myself up. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be a long journey and I have to be patient with myself and just be easy with myself. I think I just been moving nonstop since being a business owner. I never really got a chance to take a break and just chill out. So this kind of forced me to chill and take it easy and really look like internally, and then when I actually went into that depression, I had to kind of find other ways to dig deep, between religion, meditation, reading books, learning about the brain and how that works. And it really sucked because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't tattoo anymore or draw or do anything. So I kind of like lost myself a little bit, but I really pushed through mentally and building myself back up. And I kind of like tricked my brain a little bit, when I got into that bad place, like, okay, you're going to be okay. You're going to get through this and we're going to push through. And now that I'm good, the same thing, like after I got my full recovery, I was like, I want to open up a big shop now. Like I'm going to do everything right now because I don't know if in a year or two or, this will happen again. So it really just shifted my thoughts about life and just kind of like living in the moment and in the present moment.
Yeah.
So,
So many people get consumed by negativity, right? And I heard you say you trick your brain.
mhm.
And I love that. I
Yeah,
know what you mean.
yeah,
You probably use some positive
of
affirmations,
course. Yep.
right? And it's like, you
hmm
know what? I'm not gonna focus on you chose what to focus on,
hmm
right? What do you think makes you so different than another person that may have given up on life or may have fell into a more of a victim mode or more of a depressed mode? Like what's in you so that makes you different where you were able to tap into that strength?
Yeah, that's a good question because it's something I don't even know if I can explain. It's like this little fire in me that even when my world felt so dark, I was just like, you know what? I'm at my bottom, but I don't want to be here. Like it can't get any worse than this. So from that point on, I just kept trying to just see the light at the end of the tunnel, because it's just like I just can't allow myself. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's even a little bit of ego. To be honest with you, I'm like, I'm not going to end it here. There's no way. And I don't want to be in this state of depression. So you have to really just take accountability for yourself and it takes discipline too to like really just be consistent and do whatever you can to get out of that like bad space. So I think those are the things that help me to kind of like get out of it.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that, because I think that stuff like discipline and willpower, those are all faculties that exist within all of us. A
Mhm.
lot of people say like, I don't have it or I don't have the motivation to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that no, it's something that's in all of us. We just have to take the initiative and
Yeah.
and I would say even time to cultivate those things
You
inside of
do.
us.
Even if you don't want to,
Right.
like you just gotta do it. Like just talk yourself through it. Like even thinking about the gym, like today, right? I had a workout and I was like, it's Sunday. I just want to stay home and relax. Like I did not want to do that.
Right.
But I was just like, all right, let's just do it, and I'm glad I did. You just gotta like really force yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard though. It's not easy. And I think people need to keep that in mind. Like sometimes we don't want to do things, but we just have to do it. You just gotta talk yourself into doing it.
Indeed.
Mhm.
I believe, based on my own experience and someone who's been studying success and personal development for a very long time,
Mhm.
that that is the distinguishing factor. The willingness to do things you don't want to do and
Yeah.
still doing it because you either you said it
Yeah.
or it must be done, or
Mhm.
you just want to do it because you're thinking about the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
The thing that sets the people apart is that, like,
Yeah.
just doing what you don't want to do.
I didn't think about it like
As
that, but
simple
it's
as it
true.
sounds,
Yeah, no, it
but
is true.
it's not when you're in a moment and consumed by that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. How were you able, as an artist, right, to convert your passion into also being a prophet? I mean, there's even a saying, right? There's like the broke artist. Right? People talking about the broke artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you being an artist, you are not only like an amazing artist, right? You're top tier, but you're also a successful entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Like you get paid to do what you love to do.
Yeah.
How were you able to make that transition? Or should I say, not even transition, because you're still doing it. How were you able to blend both worlds? Profit and passion.
Oh man, it's passion and vision. Yeah, I think I have I'm very passionate about what I do and what I want out of life. And I'm a visual person. Maybe that's the art creative in me, but I'm like very visual about everything in my life from like now to even the future. So I knew that I was really into art and tattoos, and I really wanted to like tap into that and almost become a little bit obsessed with it. It just consumed everything in my mind. Like I want to get good at this. I want to, be very successful. And then you start to build like this vision of how you see things in your life. And I knew that I wanted a shop and I wanted to continue growing. So I just kind of like visualize that and it just all kind of comes together. It's weird. Like things just end up falling into place perfectly when you're very clear about what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So you had like I believe in the book Think and Grow Rich. It
Oh,
talks about a
yeah.
definite
Yes.
aim, a definite
Yes. I forgot
purpose.
about that book, but that was like my little mini Bible at the time. I used to read that book
Really?
every day. Yeah, I completely forgot about it. And that helped me to be a little bit more clear and I guess law of attraction and knowing what you want in the future. But yeah, that helped a lot.
If you can package, right, what you said in sort of a blueprint or a formula, right,
Mhm. Mhm.
our audience, to someone who's out there
Mhm.
who's struggling to transform or align their purpose and their passions and also make money out of it, what would you say that formula is?
Oh, that is such a good question. I think it's a little complex because everybody's personality is different. But for me, I would say um have a clear goal, like even if that's like writing it down, get an develop a lot of knowledge, read as much as you can, figure out, be so good at understanding. I guess depending on what you're doing, like for me, all right, tattoos, I wanted to make sure that I was, really understanding what it was to be a good artist, understanding just art itself and how tattoo correlates with that. And then when it was time to like actually get a shop, then I had to be very clear on that as well, on how I wanted that to what that looked like for me visually, and just the experiences that I had in between. When you bring all that together, it could kind of be a nice little formula for you. Um, but again, it kind of depends on what you're doing. I always feel like at the end of the day, it's really like your passion and your motivation for something that's going to get you pretty far. And you have to be very consistent too, even when you going through some bad things, or like a lot of doors close in your face. You just got to use that as motivation to push harder and be even better.
And there's a quality that's in you that I heard too,
Hmm.
which is the obsessive part.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think the obsessive part would also fueling when the negativity or the failures, quote unquote, do come, like you said, the doors are closed, and
Hmm.
using that as fuel.
Yes.
And I think that in a way, you do have to kind of, not even kind of, just be obsessive about it. And I think that it'll just eventually manifest.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
again, just from me studying success and personal development, that seems to be another quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this obsessive nature,
It
almost
is.
insane.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't go too deep, but yeah, it's like really obsessive.
Right,
Like
right.
it's insane. But yeah, I think it's definitely in the top list of things you kind of need a little bit to
Right.
make these things happen. Yeah.
Which is, I understand why you mean about your personality,
Hmm.
because it's like
Yeah.
if you don't have that sort of like grit and obsession, like, it's not in everybody. It's really not.
Mm-mm, it's not.
And I think social media maybe has like turned it into like a cool thing, like,
Hmm.
oh, and
Yeah.
makes to the way in a way where it makes some people feel bad if they're not like that. And I think like, yo, man, it's just really what's inside of your heart and mind. Like
Yeah.
you don't need that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Is they like try to make it seem like if you're not an entrepreneur, then you're a sucker. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're working for somebody, you're a sucker. And I think I even one time I fell into that trap. You know what I mean? It's not the case, man. You can
Not
have
at
a
all.
job, and if you're happy and that's really what you wanted to
Yeah.
do, then you are winning.
That's it. Yeah. That's
And
success for
I'm
you.
sure you can speak that also it's probably a little easier too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure, like I tell people, I wish because I work, I have a full-time job also.
Okay.
I wish I can be content with a job. Like I wish I could be content with that life, but I'm not.
Oh, you're not content with your
Nah,
full-time job? Okay.
nah, like
Okay.
I appreciate it because it was an access for me to leave the streets,
Mhm.
but I'm just not content with that. Like I'm not someone who can just come home from work, sit on the couch and chill.
Yeah.
I
It doesn't feel like
It
your
doesn't feel
purpose.
natural. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
purpose. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
If it feels like your purpose, I think it's very exciting. It doesn't
right,
feel like work. And
exactly.
that's what tattooing felt like for me. Like
Mm,
having at the time I wasn't waking up early, but I was waking up at like 6 in the morning. Like, I'm ready to go to work. I'm so excited to do this. And that's when I felt like it was my calling, like my purpose.
yeah.
So I get it. There's a lot of people in life just kind of working these jobs and they just not feeling it.
Mhm.
But sometimes you kind of need that to kind of it be like a little bit of a stepping stone to redirect you to where you need to go, whether that's like
Indeed.
making some money for it in the meantime. But I think it's necessary sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
Listen, my job bought one of these cameras we're using right now.
exactly.
So
So yeah,
absolutely. So I'm
yeah,
definitely grateful for that while I'm working to the next level.
yeah, yeah.
You mentioned the ego earlier, and there's something that I wanted to say, and it slipped my mind. I have a different view on the ego. A lot of, especially me, I know you would appreciate that because I know you use the word Zen a lot.
Hmm.
And in Zen Buddhism, now I'm not a Zen Buddhism expert or anything like that, but in Zen Buddhism, they tend to like say like the ego is like the enemy, right? I'm paraphrasing.
Yes,
For
yeah.
me, I have a
Suffering.
different perspective. I feel like the ego is very functional and
Hmm.
it could be used as a tool for positivity. It just cannot be the driver of your life. You
Yeah,
can't be ruled by your ego, but you can use the ego in a
yeah.
positive way because the ego is that part of us that yes, it gives us that pride. Like, nah, I'm not settling
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah,
You know what I
that
mean?
I feel like that's the good part of ego.
Right, right.
And then even my father had mentioned one time, like, look at these boxers, they're so full of ego, but if they didn't have that, they wouldn't be successful like Mayweather, he's full of
Right,
he's out of
right.
control. It's like, but look at where he's at, and it kind of sometimes it's good. But then my
Supreme confidence.
Yeah, yeah. But then my father also said that ego is like kind of like edging God out. And sometimes, like, if you use it too much it just has to be like a balance. Like, you can't just overdo it.
Indeed.
But I try to use ego for the good parts, but I do sometimes see how, like, sometimes it could be a little bad. So you have to have like that
Oh
balance.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's something that we have to strive to master,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I think it's a never-ending journey.
Yeah,
You
for sure.
it's always gonna be there getting triggered.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
noticed you've referenced your father a lot, and he's the one that got you started on your journey. So
Yes.
shout out to your pops.
Yes.
I think that in our community, it's like a plague, right? There's this lack of masculinity and fathers in the home,
Hmm.
and you bigging up your pops. It's just for me as a reminder how much like fathers are necessary. They're needed, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us
Mhm.
what's your view on that in terms of how like important your father is in your life and how important it is to have fathers in the home.
Yeah. Man, my father, I don't know, he just like, listen, my parents did divorce when I was at a young age, but my father did his best to be there for me, and I think a lot of it has to do with like his childhood. He had a very bad upbringing, an abusive father. So he kind of his experience, he wanted it to be completely different for me. So I think because of that, he's been a great father for me. And I'm very grateful for that because he's the reason why I got into tattoos. When I went through some tough things in life, like, he would give me the hard, cold truth about certain things and like not be biased. And because of that, I respect it. So whenever I'm kind of like going through something, I'll always give him a call like, hey, I know we haven't spoken in a little bit, but can you give me some advice on, this and that? And he's just always been there for me, and I'm glad have been able to have like a father figure in my life in that way.
Well, what message do you have for men who may be struggling to have a strong connection with their children?
Oh
What
yeah.
qualities can men embody and manifest to have a stronger connection with their children based on your experience?
Yeah, so I think one of the qualities that stand out in my father is that he's been a very honest man and not afraid to just let you know like, "Hey, this is what it is." The honesty helps so much. I also think he's been very supportive, just being there for me and pushing me. I think he motivated me a lot. He helped me to see life in a different perspective. There was like this funny story when I was younger in elementary school. I remember like having I hated like doing my homework, and I was complaining, "I hate this," throwing my pencil. "I hate this. I don't like school." He was like, "Well, all right, fine. Drop out. Go in the streets. Go get pregnant by like five different men." And like he just joking around, like he had some humor to it. And I was like, "You're giving me that freedom to do that? No, I don't want to do it. I rather just just do my homework and be quiet." But he used to do things like that, and like it wasn't he knew when to be serious, but he also knew when to be comical and like have humor. And I just think all those things just made me respect him as a person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. So you were able to build the largest tattoo studio in New Jersey. Let's talk about what has been some of the challenges along this journey.
Oh my God. There's a lot.
And of course, how did you overcome them?
Okay. So I don't know if you know the backstory, but I had a shop for 10 years, and it was a small shop. There was only 4 booths. And then after my stroke, I'm like, "Oh my God, I gotta really like live life now. So let me go open up the biggest shop." But this business is complete 360 because not only is it very large, but I have a lot of employees. So I have like 20 something people working in there compared to like the 4 tattoo artists that I had before. And financially it's a lot. And then you're dealing also with a lot of different personalities. You're man, I struggle a lot with work life balance, trying to figure that out because I tattoo full time, but then I also have to do management, which I never thought of. So now I'm still learning. So right now, I kind of adjusted my schedule, like transitioned a little bit where I could take more days away from tattooing and focus more on the management aspect. Because if you don't manage a business properly, it could kind of go downhill. The more I focus on building my business, the better it is. And if I'm tattooing, it's kind of doesn't work out well that way. And internally, I think also having a lot of patience and trying not to take things personal when, maybe employees are not liking the way things are running. Because in my mind, it's like, man, I'm really working hard to try to make everyone feel happy. But sometimes people it's kind of interesting. I'm bringing up love language in this because I feel like you kind of have to understand each employee's love language and how they want to perceive being like
Appreciate it.
appreciated. Yeah. For me, like it's hard for me to see that when I'm doing what I can, but with everyone else, they might view it differently. They might have a different perspective. So I think understanding the people that work for you, and having structure. And then also, oh, I think another important thing is like control. I always like want to have control over how everything is going and flowing. And with big business, you don't have control over everything. You don't know one day it'll be Monday will be perfectly fine. Tuesday I come in, a client's upset. Wednesday, 3 people call out. It's like a lot, and I just can't have control over everything. So I think it's important to learn how to kind of let go in that aspect. But there's a lot of like learning with this big old business,
Wow.
and it's a lot. Yeah, it's pretty stressful.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, your leadership skills has to be
Oh
a
yeah,
whole nother level
yeah.
because also no disrespect to artists,
Mhm.
but they say artists are like really tough to how do I say, get to be organized.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
because
I
we're free-spirited people.
Right.
We like to do what we want, and our brains are just a little bit different from the
Yeah.
average person. So, yeah, you're dealing with a lot of different personalities. That's why I say, like, the artist is just a little different.
Right. What is the most important quality that a leader needs to provide a supportive, energetic, and also like to get their workers going and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do?
That's kinda hard, and I'm trying to figure that out too. I gotta read a couple of more books, because for me, I thought I was leading correctly, but I think people need to be led in different ways, and that's where I'm, like, trying to understand how each person is to kinda maneuver, but I think just being organized, I think communicating very well, taking some time to, sit down with the people that you work with and brainstorming together, you need to find something that's gonna help motivate everyone. And whether that is like, hey, let's have a goal for this week, or let's do a challenge this month. Let's push ourselves. I think as a leader, you kind of have to take time to really sit down with your group and have a goal and a vision and kind of build up to
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But, I'm still learning. I think I did pretty good so far, but this is a complete different business. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to really be a leader
Mhm.
besides like what I'm doing as a tattoo artist. I have to shift it and figure out, like, as a boss, like, how can I be a better leader for them?
Yeah, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and salute to you
Thank you.
for yeah, seriously, because I know it's not an easy task just from someone who has, some leadership positions in
Mhm.
other areas in my life. It is definitely not easy,
Yeah.
especially when money's in the mix and you have the stress. Like I'm talking about more in the activism space, right?
Yeah.
But when you have to like, yo, the bills have to get paid, and now you have
Yeah.
to satisfy clients and everything,
Yes.
that's on a
Yes.
whole nother level.
Mhm.
So I know you said you struggle with the work-life balance aspect.
Mhm.
So what are you doing to enhance that or to take action towards that?
Yeah, I just started, so I cleared out my schedule just a little bit
Okay.
more. I took a couple more days off, and that's mainly so I could, again, focus more on the management part, but also have, like, just a personal time for myself, maybe in the middle of the week to just really disconnect, because it kinda sucks to, like, come home like, when you're a business owner, there's pros and cons to it, but I think, like, some of the bad parts is that, like, sometimes you have to just it's a lifestyle, it's almost like 24/7. I literally have to take it home with me sometimes, or if I'm off work, maybe somebody might call me, the receptionist might have, like, a issue and I have to be there. Um, but I am trying to figure out if I take more days off, then maybe I could focus, have a little bit more personal time for myself, and do something with, like, any hobbies that I might have, use that day to focus on the hobby, or use that day to just draw and create art. I have to really, like, set that in stone, and I have to be strict with it. Before I was kind of like, day off here. Let me still come into work. But no, I have to be, like, very strict with myself now. I'm very disciplined with that. So that's what I'm working on. I'm already shifting my calendar to be that way.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you take care of you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
you're
You
the
gotta be
main
healthy, right?
indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of John Maxwell.
Yes.
John Maxwell, he's
Yes.
an author.
Yes.
Basically, majority of his books are
I have
based on
one of
leadership.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just because you said,
Yeah.
and it might be an area for you to look, check out his books.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me because I do have a book by him and I started reading it and I remember saying, this is actually a really good book, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna have to get back into reading that.
that's
Thank
awesome.
you for reminding me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think that it's something that most people struggle with in terms of the work-life balance when you're doing your own thing. Believe it or not, it's interesting you brought that up because even to me, I mean, today on a Sunday, I was like commenting on some people's comments on the podcast and stuff, and
Mhm.
then I went, okay, let me go comment back on some TikTok stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I have like my own personal brand, then I have the success brand.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got children running around, and I'm like, yo, I need to pay attention to
Oh,
them.
yeah.
So it's just like, man, I gotta figure out a way to like, not to turn this into like a job,
Yeah.
but it's like respecting it like a job, where it's like once I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm also at the place I'm nowhere near where you are,
Mhm.
and that I also understand that this is a part of the beginning space and state,
Yeah.
right? Where I
And usually it's like chaotic in the beginning. Like all your free time
right,
is like fully
right.
dedicated to
Yeah,
it.
and
So
so
I
I'm
get it.
grateful for the supportive energy that I have at home that allows me to do that, because a lot of times I'm out, and then when I'm
Mhm.
home, I'm squeezing a little bit of time to podcast, personal brand, creating, like Yaz and I are creating a script. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you, like you said, you're on all day,
All the time.
every day,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
7 days a week.
But I'm finally after how many years I've been tattooing? 16
16.
years, yeah. Look
Mm-hmm.
at it. I'm finally like, okay, now I really need to start turning off, like when I get home. So, yeah, I tested it out this weekend. I got a client that reached out to me at like 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, I'm not answering until Monday. And sometimes I feel bad because I am very like, I like to help people. I want to be there and available, but it kinda drives you a little crazy sometimes when people just keep hitting up your phone about tattoos when I'm off of work, so now I'm, like, learning to getting used to that new lifestyle of, like, just kinda disconnecting a little bit. And then another thing is, like, when you get to a point where it gets, like, really busy, you also have to start designating and, like, kinda, like, paying other people to do certain things for you, and that's where, like, at my shop now, we used to have 3 receptionists, but I think it's fine with 2. But I started off with 1 and I'm like, this is still a lot. I'm still being very involved. Let me get another one. And thank God because that really does help take the load off of you. But you learn as you go and you have to like feel it out sometimes and you make mistakes, but you always learn from them. So I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
what's important.
Yeah, delegating. I was actually, it's interesting you brought that up, because I was thinking about the book E Myth. Great book. You should check it out. It's
Mhm.
super big. Whenever you get a chance. But it talks about systematically organizing your business in a way where it can run without you being all in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You ever thought about hiring a manager?
It's hard. The way this generation is, I'm not having luck. So usually I typically go for the receptionist first. I build them up to become managers, but unfortunately, my front desk, I've fired more people than I've ever did in all these years of, of tattooing, because I'm looking for the perfect person. And sometimes I don't want to just hire a manager right off the bat. I want to see how they move as a receptionist and build them up to that level. So, I just haven't had luck just yet, but I think it's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes some time.
How is that, firing somebody?
Oh, it sucks. I hate it. I hate it so much. I mean, because sometimes it's like I don't wanna do that. Like, I really wanna make sure everybody has an opportunity with me, and that's the goal and the vision, from the beginning, but sometimes, like, my personality doesn't click with someone else. Sometimes other people have completely different work ethics. I have expectations, and they might not meet those, so I have to, like, really just it's a little nerve-wracking sometimes. You gotta sit in a room with someone and tell them like, "Hey, I don't want you here no more." And then it usually always ends kinda bad. But I try to remain calm and let them know why I came up with this decision to do it. And then you learn to kinda just, you know, not become too attached to people. It's just like because either you're gonna fire them or they're just gonna leave. It's kinda hard to keep someone in one space for a very long time.
Yeah.
So you just gotta come to that realization.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
I hope our aspiring entrepreneurs are hearing, there's aspects of her business that she's uncomfortable with, that she has to do. So when
Yeah.
I think that when someone may look at somebody like you, right, it looks so easy, or
Yeah.
maybe they're like, oh, or I want to be in that position. They don't understand how much inner, right? There's the skills that you have.
Yeah.
You definitely are an amazing artist, but then there's a lot of inner work, which is what I want to ask you. So I heard you say you're working on 3 things: your life, your peace, and the inner work to shift your aura.
Mhm.
So how are you making that happen? And what do you mean shifting your aura?
Shifting, like, do you mean, like, transitioning my schedule? Is that what we're kinda
No,
like, shift.
more so like I think you were saying like your mindset. There was a lot of inner work that you're doing.
Oh,
What type of inner work?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, like, the self-talk that you have with yourself. With this business, like, I stress out a lot, so a lot of the times I'm kind of like I am used to a chaotic mindset. I'm used to my nervous system going crazy. It's what I'm comfortable with.
Mm.
And if things are just too chill and easy at work, I'm like, okay, bring it to me, you know? And that's kind of that it's bad.
Yeah.
So I have to really just talk to myself very differently now. And like my thoughts have to shift. So if I'm thinking like, um, for instance, the other day, I woke up to, like, a text message that really, like, annoyed me, and I was like, "Okay, this is just gonna, like, mess up my day." But instead of seeing it that way and letting my whole day be that way and dwell in those thoughts, I have to just basically speak to myself in a way like, "Okay, this is just a little temporary thing. We're gonna just let that go and move on to the next. My day's gonna be perfectly fine." You know what I mean? And that's really hard when you go through all these years thinking a certain way. And especially when you're in an environment that's like kind of like chaotic, it's really hard. But that takes practice and it takes exercising your mind and changing the way you think of things. And not even just with a business, but with everything in life, even from like the way we grew up. We grew up in the hood and this is what we're used to all these years. But eventually at some point, when you're ready to make a shift in your life, you're going to have to start seeing things differently and your experiences, whether well, mostly bad, kind of shift you as well. So all of these things I think is what's helping me to kind of transition my aura into a better, peaceful, relaxed person. It's hard, but I know it's something that I need to work on in order to just be happy in life.
From the outside looking in, I can see how your business is also part of your spiritual journey.
Hmm.
It's enhancing you not only as a business partner, I was about to say business person, as a human being.
Yeah.
Your business is not only cultivating your professionalism and your entrepreneur aspects of who you are, but is also developing spiritual aspects and developing you as a human.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like tapping into to get to this place. I mean, I really had to like I prayed, I visualized, I just like it's sometimes I can't even explain it because it's really deep and sometimes it's hard to have that conversation with people. But yeah, I mean, it takes some inner work, especially if you're going through something and you're trying to be successful, you're going through a crazy life situation, like the stroke thing, my Lyme disease, all those kind of get in the way. You have to really like dig deep on another level. And I feel like you can't always do that if you don't go through some bad things. Like you kind of need those bad things to kind of dig deeper. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, because I've come to the realization, and this may sound crazy, especially because there's some horrific things that happen in life, that there is no such thing as bad thing unless I allow it to be a bad thing. Because as I reflect back, and I've been through enough things to reflect back to say, like, that was a rough patch. However, because that happened, I now have this, or now I am in this place.
Mhm.
Super uncomfortable, super painful,
Yeah.
maybe even some battle scars,
Mhm.
some tears. But I would say as long as I made it out, I've benefited from all the quote unquote negative things. So I've accepted that as a part of life and that it's here to make me better. And it's not like maybe the truth, but my mindset makes it the truth.
Yes.
Because I can sit here and tell you most of the negative things that happened to me, and I can tell you how somehow it was positive, that now I've developed a positive trait because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? So,
Because if
yes.
if life is too good, I mean, that's kinda whack. Like,
Right,
how do you
right,
grow from that?
right.
How do
Yeah.
you become a stronger, more resilient person if you're not going through
It's
some
it's
stuff?
it's through the challenges.
Yeah.
The
That builds
challenges is
us.
where we grow, where we
Yeah.
build us. I mean, even you, like, your stroke took you to we wouldn't even have the biggest,
No, not at
tattoo
all.
studio in
No.
Jersey from a sister from Paterson if you
Yeah.
didn't go through that.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's crazy to connect those two things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying that had to happen,
Mhm.
but it happened, and this is what came out
Yep,
of it.
yep, it's so true.
There's intelligence in pain
Yeah.
if we just pay attention.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's information there that we could draw from.
Yep,
You know,
100%.
I just think that you have to be willing to, man, I don't want to sound insensitive by saying this, but not be so victimized by it and
Yeah.
just say like, wow, this hurts, this sucks, I don't like it, I wish it wasn't here. However, it's here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to accept it.
Yeah.
Now what do I need to do? Who do I need to be to get
Yes.
out of it? And so the positive and negative are aspects of life that we need,
Yeah.
Queen. You heard?
Yeah, 100%. And I always say, like, when it rains, it pours. Like, for me, when bad things happen, oh my God, it's like, it's intense. But I always say, like, okay, this is also a blessing because if this bad thing is happening right now, something good is going to happen. And it always, always is. And I also have to remind myself that, like, all of this is temporary. Your pain, it's temporary. So just keep that in mind. Like, you're going through something, it's
Yeah.
temporary. Depression, temporary, like all of that. Something good comes out of it in the end.
How tough is it being a woman, a successful woman, right? Finding a man. Because a lot of men are intimidated.
100%. So I do have a boyfriend now.
Shouts out to him.
Oh my God, it's like a miracle. But prior to him, it was a disaster. And people would be like, "Why? You're so successful. You're so pretty." Blah blah. Blah. I'm like, I don't even want to hear it because that is like men. A lot of men are very intimidated. Like you said, they would not approach me. I'll go to the gym. So many men all around me. They'll just look and never. And I'm like, come on, come to me, please. Like nobody comes to me. And I remember like hitting up my dad, like, Dad, I can't get on a date with. Like I can't find a date at all. He's like, well, maybe you need to start approaching men. And that's what I was doing for a little bit. It did help. But unfortunately, like, with my lifestyle and the way things are with me and my business, it's different being with someone like me. And so I needed to be involved with somebody who can understand my lifestyle and how I move. And my boyfriend now, actually, I had to go on Facebook dating.
Mhm.
And that helped a lot because going out there isn't like nobody really approaches you and you just don't really know. So I was so busy too. So trying to find time was like very difficult. But yeah, it's not easy for successful women sometimes. It's not. And sometimes I wish that I had like a normal life. Well, at the time when I was single, like I would say to myself, man, I wish I was just like had a normal life, a normal job so that I could find the love of my life, which is crazy, but that's the reality of it sometimes.
I know a lot of men are going to watch this or hear this episode and they're going to be like, damn, I should have pushed.
Yeah. And people assume that I'm like dating someone or with someone. Well, at the time, and I mean, it was years single, struggling.
You know what else too? I remember when I was younger, and so I grew up. I'm from the hood, right? You know what I mean. So there's a lot of material items I didn't have, and when I would see women, young women at the time, we were all young, and they would maybe dress a certain way, and so I'm from the streets. That would intimidate me because I'm like, yo, she's either stuck up or
Yes.
I'm not gonna be able to satisfy her lifestyle.
Mhm.
And what I've come to realize later on, as I reconnected with some women or whatever, and they're like, "Yo, man, I was good with doing my own thing. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
expecting a man, but some women are like
Yeah.
that.
100%.
So I think that that's the thing too, where it gets a little twisted. Where some men may feel like, oh, how can I maintain that?
Yeah.
I'm just working at Home Depot.
100%.
She owns the biggest tattoo spot in Jersey.
Yeah.
She's not even gonna pay attention to me.
Yeah. Yep.
So it might be some of that. But yeah, man, you gotta go for it, man. You never know.
Don't be scared.
There you
There's a
go.
woman waiting for someone.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. In this stage of life, how do you define success?
Success to me is, all right, I'm thinking about like how life was before when I was younger and how it is now. So if you have grown, um, you have developed into like a better person. You have taken a hard situation and use that as fuel to be better. Like I think all those things make you successful. Cause like I just think about like how I started. I started as like this apprentice at this little shop in the hood of Newark, and who I was then to where I am and who I am now. I mean that whole in between is successful. So what does that look like? That looks like going through all of the things that I've been through, the health scares, the painful losses that I've had, the me growing as a better artist, being an artist to a tattoo artist, like all those in between things. And I think if you developed in that way, I think that's successful.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing because you didn't mention anything material. You really just focused on the process.
Yeah, the material things that no, that
And you have material, great material items. That's,
yeah,
what I mean? So
yeah, no, but that's not what success is for me.
wow. So
It's how
you heard it from a successful person telling you what it is. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And was there a time where you had to shift that, or you sort of always knew, like, nah, the material stuff don't make you successful? Did you learn that, or you always sort
I
of?
actually I've always been this way. I've never been too much into the material things. Like occasionally here and there I did spend a lot of money on like, oh, let me go, I went to Italy, let me buy my first YSL bag over there. But it's more for the experience, but I don't even wear that bag. Like to me there's more important things. Like if I'm going to make money, I'm going to put it back into something else, whether that's investing or for my business. It's always like it's never like the material things.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe that's just how I am as a person, but it was never like that important.
How do you stay positive when you're facing adversity? You seem to always be really upbeat,
Mhm.
positive spirit, caring about others. I mean, I've never heard a leader or a business owner mention the four love languages, which, by the way, that's amazing. I think that's super dope. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you're a woman, so that feminine aspect of leadership
Mhm.
is showing, or what it is, but it's brilliant. So
Thank you.
how do you stay positive, during adversity?
Like I kind of briefly mentioned before, just knowing that these things are temporary
Okay.
and some of them are not even real. It's just kind of like your thoughts about things. Like it's really hard to explain. I'm sorry, but I think it's just knowing that it's basically temporary, and then you'll get past it.
Yeah, and
Um,
I understand.
and I don't know, I think it's just like the excitement of life. Um, when I become more successful or good things happen, those are like it like fires me up like, okay, like I'm in a good position right now. And I just try to hold on to that, you
Yeah.
know?
What I'm hearing from you is that you understand or have learned that whatever you're experiencing is just temporary.
Yeah.
And,
Hmm.
and that's in a lot of spiritual teachings as well.
Oh, is
It's
that I
like
do?
this is a moment,
Mhm.
or as some people say, this is just a chapter. This is not the whole book.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, understanding that you just gotta survive the storm.
Yeah. And go with the flow.
Yeah,
Flow with the water.
that's right. And then what I'm also hearing is the positive self-talk, which you mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
because you can listen to either voice. You can listen to the negative voice or the positive voice. In Buddhism, it talks about right speech and
Mhm.
how we should always practice right speech when
Yeah.
we're building or conversing with others, but
Mhm.
as well as most importantly, I think, when we're conversing with ourselves, because we
100%.
all have a voice in us. The
Mhm.
crazy thing is that sometimes that voice that we think we hear that's inside of us, a lot of times it could be like a traumatic voice from our past.
Mhm.
It could be maybe a dysfunctional or toxic family member whose voice is now in our head,
Mhm.
right? But it tries to trick us. And
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound all like mystical, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's because I know I've battled with some criticism when I was young.
Mhm.
And I realized that when I'm experiencing something, that criticism that I experienced when I was young comes back disguised in my voice.
Yes, yes.
And I have to, first of all, tell her to shut up.
Yep,
And
yep.
two, like you said, transform it into a positive self-talk
Yeah,
through
yeah.
practicing compassion,
Yeah.
and also saying, okay, this is a part of the process. Something is, I've also lived long enough to know that usually something good comes out of something, like you mentioned earlier as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is happening. Or sometimes it's like, yo, like in the streets, we used to say, charge it to the game. Just understanding things just gonna happen
Yep, yep.
outside of your control. And the best thing to do is just focus,
Yeah.
what's in your
Yeah,
control.
yeah. It's
And your voice in your head, it's
yeah.
your control. You
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like the roommate or another person in your mind with your voice. And sometimes, yeah, like I'm like, all right, whatever's going on here, just shut up.
Yeah.
We're gonna switch this way. That's why, like, sometimes you'll see, like, in cartoons or something, they have the angel and the devil illustrators. That's how your mind is. You have to choose which one you're gonna go in. And it's hard, man. Like, sometimes I'm not always that positive either. Sometimes I'm just really like in a negative state of mind, but like you just got to shift it and know that that's not really you. It's everything from your past, your childhood, the criticism, all of that is like it's still there, and we have to go through life every day kind of like going through that. Like when they talk about healing, like healing is a journey and it's a lifestyle. I don't think it like even fully goes away. It's always in the back somewhere. It's almost like you had this wound and the scar is still there. So you just have to learn how to like kind of talk to yourself, self-soothe yourself, and just, decide who you're gonna follow, the angel or the devil today. So that's kind of like how the mind is.
One of the main reasons, selfish plug, I named my book The Power of Choice, is because as someone who has experienced extreme transformation in my life, I've learned that yes, there's a lot of things that's outside of my control, and there's also a lot of things within my control, and there were choices. Like, yeah, I'm from the hood or from the block. However, the truth is, I always say my mother raised me right.
Yeah.
I chose to sell drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's a
I could sit here
choice.
and tell you I was poor. I could sit here and tell you my father wasn't in my life. Those are all facts. However, at the end of the day, I chose a lot of my hardship also.
Yeah,
And I also chose a lot of the great things in my life also.
yeah.
So it is all about choice.
I gotta read your book.
Oh, thank you. I
This
appreciate it.
this is great.
Yeah, that was yours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
There
yes.
you
I'm
go.
so excited. Okay, good.
Yeah. No, but that's cool. I definitely appreciate how you answered that. You answered it beautifully.
Yeah.
So I want to move on to some of our guest questions.
Okay.
And then we're going to start to land the plane, as I like to say.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So shout out to SB from ESB Clothing. He has a few questions for you.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Besides tattooing, what would you see yourself doing as a career? I was like, nay. I was like, yo, that's a good
Well,
one.
that is so good. So, believe it or not, there's a couple of things, but I always wanted to be a plastic surgeon. Don't ask why. I just used to be so I just remember being a little girl and just watching those things on TV and maybe I don't know, maybe it's just like working with people and making them feel good, which is kind of like what tattooing is about. I'm creating art and people feel good after it. So maybe like the plastic surgery thing is something that I was into. And I'm also very much so into animals as well. So I always wanted to be a vet. So I would think maybe one of those two careers I would have gone into if I didn't do tattooing.
Great. What do you see your weakness is as an artist and business owner? What's your weakness?
Um, I get triggered easily sometimes. I take things personal, I think. And the only reason why is because I'm so like, I really do work hard and I have all these years. So when, people don't like certain things, the way things are being ran, it's kind of like I take it personal. Like, man, I'm really trying my best. So I think that's a weakness of mine, like taking things personal and caring too much about what people say or think about me. Because I know, like, deep down inside, like, I have a good heart and I always try. So when someone doesn't see the goodness in me, I take it a little personal.
Yeah, no, you'd be
Yeah.
surprised how much you got in common. I had yo, It's one of the things that I despise about myself, actually.
Yeah,
Caring too much about what people think.
yeah.
Yeah, like I really despise that.
Why I gotta be like that? Come on, like who cares? You know, everybody's always gonna have an opinion,
Indeed.
and it's just trying to not take it personal, but that's hard.
Yeah, I tell you, and this is with challenges in general, especially things like that where we get triggered. There's something inside of us that needs to heal.
Yeah.
So look to see wherever you're getting triggered in
Okay.
business and in your personal life. There's something there. It's
Mhm.
it's it's not the actual thing. The example I like to use is like sparring. If you and I are sparring and I jab you and you keep getting hit with my jab,
Yeah.
there's something that you have to do, some self-reflecting,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I need to move a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. There's something there.
So you gotta learn from that. It's like
Yeah.
a root issue.
So
From
challenges
Yeah.
are just mirrors of things inside of us that we need to work on when they trigger us,
Yes.
when they trigger us in that way.
Yeah.
So something for you to look into while
Okay.
you're meditating or journaling, because I see you
Yeah.
got some
Yeah.
journals and stuff.
Yep.
All right.
Definitely.
Luz wants to know, who is Tiffany before the stroke and who is Tiffany after the stroke? So she wants to know, I guess, what's the difference between you before and after the stroke?
Oh my God, these questions are good. Before the stroke, man, I feel like I'm just going through so many different changes. But I feel like before the stroke, I was always like, I just feel like I was kind of in a bad place. Like I was trying to find, I don't know if it's like find myself, but I just felt like I was in a like I was just angry with myself, my life a little bit, how things played out. I feel like I was always hurt from something, whether someone said something or like, if I had any like family issues, it would really hit home for me. Um, and then when I had the stroke, it was just kind of like, okay, take it easy and like let's really find out what these issues are. So it helped me go through like a change within myself, like looking really deep within. I don't mean to get too personal with my life, but it was kind of like I was
Yeah.
kind of going through this chaotic life, didn't really like my life. Had the stroke, had to really look deep in. And then now afterwards, I feel like I'm very self aware, but now I'm kind of going through a change of like, okay, now life is a little bit stressful. How can I tap into that to live a more peaceful, happy life? How do I let like my business and everything around me kind of like not mess me up, in a way? And how do I continue to be consistent with the way I think in a positive way? So there's like a lot of changes in life, but I would say that's kind of like the storyline of it.
Mhm. When you look deep, inside, what did you find?
Ah, it's it's just it's pretty painful. Yeah, I had to do a lot of like shadow work and like go back into childhood. And like sometimes who wants to look at those things? But it's necessary to know why, for instance, like why do I attract when I was in relationships, why did I attract the same type of people? Like why did I attract a lot of emotionally unavailable people? Um, even like the taking things personal thing, like why do I care so much about what people think about me? Why am I so sick all the time? So like I really had to figure out those are some deeply embedded things. And I think during that time, like I had to like go do the therapy thing and do shadow work, and they were pretty painful. But it helped me to be, like I said, self-aware. So
Yeah. Salute to you for being courageous enough to do the work, sis. And
Yeah.
just so that you're not alone. Like I've been in therapy for individual therapy,
Yeah.
couples therapy with my wife.
Yeah.
I've spent, I always say this, thousands of dollars on personal development
Yeah, that too. You
and
gotta see my book
the
collection.
books. Yo, I was just about to say, look, the books. I mean, so much, and so I know what it's like to look in those scary places.
Cause like, who wants to go tapping? It's like opening up a can of worms. It's a lot.
Yeah,
You gotta be prepared and ready for that. Actually, you gotta take some time to, like, be alone and be in those feelings.
Yes.
Mhm.
And also what I find are two things. Number one, because you mentioned being alone, but I also realized that there's certain blind spots that I just couldn't see.
Yeah.
And so I needed to trust certain people to point certain things that I was not willing to admit
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
So there's that factor. But I want to say I still have a lot of work to do on myself, but I feel so free.
More lighter, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lighter. There's a freedom.
Yeah, there
You know, I
is.
was having a conversation with my man Storm from my block, but he's from 11th Ave, 11th 23rd. Shout out to Storm. And he was like, yo, man, I love how like real you can keep it, because
Yeah.
I'm not afraid as a man to share vulnerable stuff. And I told him, bro, I'm done a lot of work on myself. I'm secure with my manhood.
Yeah.
I'm free.
That's good, yeah.
Like, you know what I
Because most
mean?
men go through life having to, play this, persona of like being strong and not show emotions and not be vulnerable. But that's what messes men up mentally. Like you have to be able to be, and when you open up like that and you're able to be vulnerable and tap in, then yeah, you are free. Like you are able to be free.
Yeah.
You just don't have to
And
hold that
that's
in.
yes, and that's also strength.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my main messages to the young men that I work with, like this, that the right way, because I do believe men should be strong and we shouldn't be soft and none of that. It has to be done and channeled the right way with the right people at the
Yeah.
right time.
Yeah.
And so I'm just blessed. I have amazing people in my life, so I can be vulnerable. Ain't nobody tripping. Anybody, you know what I'm saying? Guys, to come out of that.
Yes.
I don't even like. Yeah, the space and energy in the people that I've attracted and developed in my life, it's truly a blessing.
That's
And so I tell people, you know, that's another thing I say is what I wanted to offer you too is like, I want to say try. That's not the word I want to use. Don't attempt to do it alone either, because you are in a position both in your life and in your business. And so my concern, I don't know if you have anybody to pour into you. And from love and wisdom and all of those things. Because there's one thing when we seek, I'm a seeker too, but it's also important to have people to pour into us as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's just something
Support system is always very important.
super,
Yeah. Yeah.
super.
And that, throughout all these years, like everything I've done, I did a lot by myself. Like one thing about me is I actually don't like to ask for help. And so I'm just going through life dealing with all this internally. But one thing, like, and that's why family is very important to me because, like, my father, my mom, like, to be able to like give them a call, like, hey, I'm going through it right now. Can you listen to me and hear me out? And they listen and they give you, support and some guidance. Like, I think that's important, like, to be able to have someone there to be able to like just open up to when the time just gets super, super, super rough, But that's how it's been for me a lot, and I think that caused a lot of suffering doing everything on my own.
Mhm.
But I had to learn that myself.
Yeah, it's part of the journey.
Yeah,
Right now, somewhere, there's a little boy or a little girl with a dream inside of them.
100%, yeah.
What words or what message do you have for them?
I would say and, like, thinking about, like, the little girl in me, like, everything's gonna be okay and you are not alone. I think that's important. And I feel like I learned that, like, recently when I was going through my, like, inner work, um, because a lot of the times, like, as an adult, I felt very alone, like, even though I had, like, my family is, like, a really empty part of me that felt like I'm lonely and I don't have anyone, but that's not true at all. So, like, when I had to self-soothe and talk to the inner child, it was kinda like, we had to, like, talk to this child and the same question you asked, and that was one thing that, like, stood out to me, like, "You are not alone. There are people here for you, and everything is gonna be okay. Everything's temporary." So that's what I would
Yeah.
say.
You know, I'm going to ask the last few questions. One thing that I'm really getting from you and that I truly manifest that our audience is getting is that you are big on developing yourself.
Yes.
Like that has been a major part of your success. You've been developing yourself not just business-wise, but you've been developing yourself as a woman. Is it correct to say that?
Yes.
And is it also correct to say that it's the reason why you're successful?
Yeah, yeah. At first, I didn't see it like that, but who I was a couple years ago is not who I am now. And it's kind of hard to see that when you're going through a lot or when you fall through a depression. You don't see any of that. It's just like you're under this black cloud. But all of it is, yeah, it's definitely my development has made me a better person, and who I am now, I'm like very happy with finally. I'm sure, like as how life is, you still have some growth to do, but I'm very, very, very happy that I'm in this place now. I think I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're developing an after tattoo aftercare line.
Oh yeah,
That sounds
yeah.
exciting. So you still have more entrepreneur
Yeah,
endeavors.
yeah. It is out now.
Oh,
I
it's
do
out
have it
already.
in my store, yeah.
Okay.
But
Oh,
it's funny because and nobody really knows this, but my aftercare line is something that I created myself. So many years ago, I like to have like different hobbies. So I got into a hobby of creating like a hair care line, a natural hair care line, and a skincare line. And I kind of like, I did it and then I left it alone. And I'm like, you know what? I remember creating this lotion that I used to use for my skin when it was like dry during the season. And like, how about I tweak that now to be more like tattoo related? And that I did. So the cream that I created is a very organic line and it's meant for dry skin and tattoos. So I'm excited that I finally like brought that to light and I'm actually like selling it in my store now. So yeah.
that's amazing, man. I hope you know how amazing you are.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank
What's
you.
the most favorite book you read?
Oh, oh, man, definitely the Think and Grow Rich, but I feel like what is one? I hope I'm saying this right. The Untethered Soul,
Oh, that book is
right? Okay,
amazing.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
been many years, but
The
I remember
Untethered
it standing out
Soul.
a lot to me. Um,
Shout out to Rachel. Rachel recommended that book to me, The Untethered Soul. We'll drop the link in the description. Dope book.
yeah, yeah. Lighter was another one. Why do I forget his name? But that's a good book. Um, But, yeah, I think those are the Think and Grow Rich one was, maybe my number 1 though, because that helped me to be clear on how, like, law of attraction works, how to be very clear on your visual, writing things down, and because of that book, I think it helped guide me through, like, my success as well, so I would recommend that one for anyone that's, like, trying to get into business or entrepreneur. That's a very helpful book.
All right, we'll have the link in the description.
Yes.
So 100 years from now, sis. Oh, forgive me. I have two more questions.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, yeah.
What is your favorite tattoo that you've done?
Oh, man, that's such a good one. Because I feel like all the tattoos I do, I try to make them the best I can. Let's see. Um, I would say culture ones. The culture ones that I've done. The Malcolm X, that was a really good one. That was so much fun to do, being able to, like, look at, like, news clippings and figure out how to make it as a full, like, art piece was awesome. I did a couple, like 'cause, I'm a Puerto Rican descent, so, like, I have done a lot of, Puerto Rican
The
tattoos.
Taino?
Yeah, Taino, yep. And, recently I did do, like, a Puerto Rican and New York combined, like, full sleeve on someone, and that was a lot of fun to do, so I think, like, the culture related or ethnicity ones are, like, some of my favorites.
Fire,
Yeah.
fire. Final question from our guest. Who is your favorite celebrity guest that you tattooed?
Ah, I really love Snooki, and Justina Valentine's a lot of fun too. I've actually tattooed Justina way more, so I kinda developed a little, bond with her, but, yeah, both her and Snooki were fun people to work with.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so 100 years from now, they are reading your eulogy.
Mhm.
What would you want your legacy to be?
Oh my God, why are you so good at this? These questions are good.
Thank you.
What would I want it to like say? One thing?
No, whatever you want.
Okay.
It's for eulogy.
I would say that like uh it's like I don't want tattooing to define me, but I think it's a big part in who I am as a person. So I would like things to be mentioned like that I'm a very ambitious and passionate, loving person who has an amazing heart. I am very innocent and sometimes I could be a little fiery. It could be funny. She's impatient, she's fiery, she's impulsive, but at the end of the day, she has a very good, loving heart and only wishes the best for everyone. And another thing is giving people the opportunity, which is another reason why I do love my shop because I'm able to give artists an opportunity to work in a space that makes them feel like they have purpose. So I think giving people opportunities is what I will also like to be mentioned.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing.
those things.
A final question.
Okay.
Yeah, but a final question. Why didn't you settle just being a tattoo artist? Why be a business person too?
I think it just happened that way. Originally, like, I would have never thought that I would be a business person. I was just an artist, but when you have a tattoo shop, you have to learn both aspects of it, being an artist and running a business. So, it ended up just kind of shifting that way, and now I'm like, now I kinda wanna know even more about how it is to run businesses. It's kind of like it's challenging, but it's fun and learning something new is what's important for me too. So, I think it all just came together, both of them.
Let
Yeah.
people know where they can find you.
Well, guys, you could find me on Instagram, Tiffany Tattoos with a Z. You can also visit my website, tiffanytattoos.com. And yeah, I'm located at In Gallery Tattoo Studio, which is located in Fairfield, New Jersey. So you guys definitely got to check it out. It's an awesome shop, awesome people. And I would love to be able to tattoo you guys someday.
Yeah, listen, tell a friend and tell a friend. The sister dropped many gems about business, life, personal development. If you know anyone who's an artist or anyone who's an entrepreneur or anyone who's struggling in life, share this episode with them. And of course, you already know the drill. Press that like button and subscribe. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Salute.